So let's start with the reality that nobody can deny. Being born into a low-income, working-class family means starting the game we call life 5-0 behind. So two paths appear in front of you. One, you get bitter at life, you say, this is my fate. You treat the conditions as unchangeable facts and do nothing about it. And the second is that you see this situation as your advantage, as your fuel. You tell yourself that I'm going to climb up from the hardest level, and you set out on a difficult but adventurous journey. No matter what happens, you choose to fight to the end. So let's start with the reality that nobody can deny. Being born into a low-income, working-class family means starting the game we call life 5-0 behind compared to middle and upper-income families. Family stress, low income, money stress, family conflict, low living conditions, unhappiness, lack of education, not just a difficult situation, but an extremely difficult situation to be in. Second fact is that, unfortunately, life isn't fair. Some of us are born into a royal family, and some of us are born in a town in Africa with no food or water. That's the world we live in, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it. First, we need to understand this and accept this. Accepting doesn't mean surrendering. Accepting means seeing the rules of the game and accepting them. Now there are two options. You can enter the game of life either as a player or as a spectator. Look, being born working class is difficult. Your odds of reaching a very good life are low, yes. So two paths appear in front of you. One, you get bitter at life, you say, this is my fate. You treat the conditions as unchangeable facts and do nothing about it. That means joining the game as a spectator. Look, I used to play this game a lot called Counter-Strike, where you could either enter the game as a player to fight, it's a fighting and shooting game, or you could join the game as a spectator and just watch everything that's going on. It was such a cool game. Anyway, and the second is that you see this situation as your advantage, as your fuel. You tell yourself that I'm going to climb up from the hardest level, and you set out on a difficult but adventurous journey. No matter what happens, you choose to fight to the end. When I say that a real game starts when you're born poor, what I actually mean is, if you were born unlucky, then you have to accept this. Let's be real, you don't actually have that much to lose. You're starting from the hardest and lowest point. Even if you try your best and fail, the worst case scenario is you go back to where you were before you started. But if you never try, you're already out of the game. But if you finally say, that's enough, screw this life, and go at it with full strength, then in any outcome, you will automatically have changed your life and yourself a lot. Listen, why are there so few successful people, actually successful, very successful people in the world? Yes, there's talent, discipline, hard work, luck, but let's talk reality. Most people in this world have some kind of a talent that can be developed. Anyone can educate themselves and become more knowledgeable, smarter, and discipline can also be learned. So why does the majority still fail? Because this road is painful. Because leaving the comfort zone, giving up the easy dopamine sources that you got used to. Easy dopamine sources are, like Netflix, social media, video games, socializing, whatever. So giving up these things and reprogramming your brain can be one of the hardest things a human can do. In my opinion, a person's biggest enemy in this life is comfort. And of course, addiction to dopamine from the wrong places. Too much instant pleasure, constant screens, constant distractions. After a while, your brain's functionality collapses. And even taking the smallest step towards success in any area becomes impossible because the brain rejects it, since it feels extremely boring and painful. Or let's say more difficult rather than painful. But for middle and upper income people, there's another trap. Basic needs aren't an urgent problem, which means they can reach the fast pleasures whenever they want, which also means that makes it harder for them to take big risks and endure hardship for a long time. So their problem isn't poverty. Their problem is too much comfort. And the hidden advantage of being low income is scarcity, discomfort, hard conditions, and unhappiness. And when managed correctly, these can keep a person's motivation, work ethic, patience, tolerance, and ambition very high. They can create an ideal foundation for climbing toward the life you want without quitting, without giving up, giving it everything you've got. Hardship has a healing side. So long as it doesn't break you, it makes you stronger. We should not forget this. In this world, thousands of people who started out homeless managed to reach at the very top. For example, Sylvester Stallone, so desperate to sell the Rocky script, he was almost ready to sell his dog, and I think he sold his dog and then he bought him back after he got successful. Then there is J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, from single motherhood on a state support to becoming a millionaire and a global phenomenon. And of course, there's Cristiano Ronaldo from a poor island to becoming one of the most famous footballers in the world. So these examples prove this. Being born poor does not mean that you lose even before the game starts. Of course, these stories are rare. It would also be wrong to claim that everyone will become similarly successful. But without trying, we will never know, right? Look, today almost everyone has access to the internet, to artificial intelligence. You can simply ask ChatGPT, so this is my situation and this is where I want to be at in the future. Is it possible? If it is possible, what should I do? It will lay out for you step by step what you should read, what you should watch, which skills to develop, absolutely everything you need. Knowledge doesn't belong to elites only anymore. No. There is no such a thing as everything is possible. It's nonsense. It's a fairy tale. What I'm saying is very different. I'm saying that you don't know your true potential. Most people quit far below their limit. And if you don't quit, you'll get a chance to see what your limit actually is. So not everything is possible, but far more than you think can become possible. Luck may not have been given to you at the birth, so you create your own luck. That's in human nature. We live once, we share this life with our family once, and we won't get another chance. Reaching Cristiano Ronaldo's level is difficult, yes, but even if you achieve just 1% of what he achieved, that means that you've entered the top 1% of the high-level people in this world.